What if a single evening could change your entire life? Ethan Carter, a billionaire, walks into a quiet little restaurant for a simple meal. He has no idea that tonight will bring back a mystery that has haunted him for years. Could this be the moment fate gives him a second chance? On the outside, Ethan has it all: wealth, power, and success. But deep inside, he is a broken man. 10 years ago, he lost the one thing that mattered most: his daughter, Sophie. She was only 8 years old when she vanished during a family trip. One moment, she was there, laughing by the river, and the next, she was gone. Ethan never stopped searching. He hired the best investigators, spent millions, and prayed for a miracle. But no answers ever came. Now, a decade later, the pain still lingers. Every day he wonders, could he have done more? That night, overwhelmed by his loneliness, Ethan leaves his cold, empty mansion. He drives through the city and stops at a small, cozy restaurant, one he's seen before but never visited. He doesn't want luxury tonight. He just wants something real. He steps inside. The warmth of the restaurant greets him. The soft glow of the lights, the smell of fresh bread, it all feels comforting. He chooses a table by the window and stares at the busy street outside. His mind drifts back to Sophie. Where is she now? Is she safe? The questions never stop haunting him. Just then, a waitress walks up to take his order. She looks young, maybe in her early 20s. She smiles, tired but polite. Ethan glances at her, ready to order until something catches his eye. A faint crescent-shaped scar on her arm. His heart stops. That scar. It's the same as Sophie's. She got it when she fell off her bike at 6 years old. He remembers it like yesterday. Ethan's grip tightens on the table. Is this just a coincidence? Or is the girl standing in front of him the daughter he lost 10 years ago? Jason Reed never thought much about the old attic in his grandfather's house. It was dusty, filled with boxes, and honestly, a little creepy. But when he was asked to clean it out after his grandfather passed away, he had no choice. He grabbed a flashlight, took a deep breath, and stepped inside. Most of the attic was what he expected: old furniture, forgotten photo albums, and stacks of newspapers. But then, something strange caught his eye. An old wooden box, locked tight, hidden behind a pile of books. Jason's curiosity burned. What was inside? And why had his grandfather kept it hidden? After searching the attic, he finally found the key buried under a pile of letters. His hands shook as he unlocked the box. Inside, he found a stack of letters wrapped in a faded red ribbon. The paper was yellowed with age, the ink slightly faded. Jason carefully opened the first one and started reading. The letter was addressed to his grandfather, but it wasn't from anyone Jason knew. It was written by a woman named Eleanor. With each line he read, his heart pounded harder. This wasn't just any letter. It was a love letter. Jason couldn't believe what he was reading. His grandfather had always been a quiet, serious man. He never spoke about his past, never mentioned anyone named Eleanor. But these letters told a different story. They spoke of a love so deep, so powerful, that it seemed impossible to forget. As Jason read more, he realized the truth. His grandfather had been in love with Eleanor, but something had torn them apart. The final letter was the most heartbreaking of all. It was a goodbye. Eleanor had written it decades ago, begging his grandfather to meet her one last time. But the date on the letter, Jason froze. The letter had never been opened. A chill ran down his spine. His grandfather never got to read Eleanor's final words. He never knew she had waited for him. Jason's mind raced. What had happened? Why didn't his grandfather ever see this letter? And then another thought hit him. What if Eleanor was still out there, waiting? Liam Carter had always been told never to go into his father's study. The heavy wooden desk, the towering bookshelves, and the locked drawer, everything about that room felt off-limits. But one evening, when his father left the house in a hurry, Liam's curiosity got the best of him. His heart pounded as he stepped inside. The air smelled like old paper and dust. He ran his fingers along the desk, stopping at the one thing that always caught his attention: the locked drawer. His father never opened it. What was inside? After searching, Liam found a small key taped underneath the desk. His hands shook as he slid it into the lock. With a soft click, the drawer opened. Inside, he found stacks of letters, some faded with age. But one envelope stood out. It was newer, sealed tightly, and had his name on it. Confused, he opened it and started reading. The words on the page made his stomach drop. The letter wasn't just a message, it was a confession. His father had been keeping a huge secret from him. The man who had raised him wasn't his real father. His biological father was someone else, someone his mother had loved before she disappeared from their lives. Liam's hands trembled. Why had his father hidden this? Why had no one ever told him the truth? As he flipped through the other letters, more secrets spilled out. His mother hadn't left by choice. She had vanished. And his father, he wasn't just hiding the truth. He was hiding something bigger. A cold fear crept up Liam's spine. If his father had lied about this, what else had he lied about? And why did the last letter have a warning written on it? Liam, if you're reading this, you need to leave. Now. His breath caught in his throat. What did that mean? His father would be home soon. He had minutes, maybe seconds before he had to decide what to do. Liam grabbed the letters, shoved them into his pocket, and raced toward the door. He had a feeling that once he walked out, his life would never be the same. Mason Hill had always loved exploring his grandmother's attic. It was packed with dusty trunks, old photographs, and forgotten treasures. But one stormy afternoon, he stumbled upon something different, something that would change everything. Tucked behind a broken rocking chair, Mason found a small wooden box. It looked old, the kind of thing people locked away for a reason. His hands trembled as he lifted the lid. Inside, he found an old journal, its leather cover cracked with age. Curious, he flipped through the pages. The handwriting was familiar. It belonged to his grandfather, a man he barely remembered. But as Mason read, his heart pounded. The journal wasn't filled with memories. It was filled with secrets. One entry caught his eye. I never meant for anyone to find out. If they knew the truth about what happened in 1974, everything would fall apart. Mason's breath hitched. What had his grandfather done? He turned the page, scanning the next entry. They came looking for answers, but I sent them away. No one can ever know what I buried under the oak tree. Buried? Under the oak tree? Mason's mind raced. His grandmother's house had a giant oak tree in the backyard. Was something still there? Determined, he grabbed a flashlight and ran downstairs. Rain poured as he stepped outside, but he didn't care. He needed to know. The wind howled as he reached the tree, its twisted branches swaying in the storm. Mason dropped to his knees and started digging. His fingers scraped against something hard. A box. His chest tightened as he pulled it out. With shaking hands, he pried it open. Inside was a bundle of old letters and a photograph. He held it up, his stomach twisting. It showed his grandfather standing beside a man Mason had never seen before. But on the back, 4 chilling words were scrawled. He was never found. Mason's pulse pounded in his ears. Who was the man? And why did his grandfather bury this here? Just then, lightning flashed, illuminating a shadow near the house. Someone was watching. Mason froze. Had he just uncovered something that was never meant to be found? Ethan Carter was home alone when he heard the first knock. It was soft, almost hesitant. He glanced at the clock. 11:47 p.m. Too late for visitors. He ignored it. Maybe it was the wind. But then knock, knock, knock. A chill crawled up his spine. He peeked through the window. A man stood on the porch, his face hidden under a hood. Something about him felt wrong. Ethan's heart pounded. He didn't open the door. Instead, he backed away, grabbed his phone, and called his mom. No answer. He tried his dad. Voicemail. Knock. 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 The man didn't leave. He just stood there, waiting. Ethan's hands shook as he locked every door and window. He told himself to stay calm. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe the guy would leave. But then, his phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. I see you. Ethan's breath caught. He spun around, eyes darting to every shadow. How did this person have his number? His fingers trembled as he typed back, "Who are you?" No response. Just another knock, louder this time. More forceful. Then silence. Minutes passed. Ethan barely breathed. Had the man left? Slowly he crept toward the window. The porch was empty. Relief flooded his chest. Maybe it was some weird prank. Then his phone buzzed again. Another message. Check the back door. Ethan's stomach dropped. His head snapped toward the kitchen. The back door. The one he forgot to lock. He wasn't alone. The floor creaked behind him. Ethan spun around just in time to see a shadow moving toward him. He barely had time to react before BANG. The lights flickered. The room went dark. Silence. Then a whisper right behind his ear. "You should have opened the door." Mason Reynolds never believed in ghosts. Not until the night something whispered his name from inside his closet. It started as a faint rustling sound, like someone shifting inside. He told himself it was just the wind or maybe the house settling. But then his blood turned to ice. Mason sat up in bed, heart hammering. He stared at the closed closet door. Had he imagined it? He held his breath, waiting, silence. Maybe he was just hearing things. Slowly, he lay back down, pulling the covers up to his chin. Just as he started to relax, his closet door moved. Mason bolted upright, staring in horror. The door was now slightly open, a sliver of darkness peeking through. That wasn't possible. He locked it before bed. A cold chill filled the room. The air felt heavier, like something unseen was watching him. He reached for his phone, hands shaking. Texting his mom felt ridiculous, but something was wrong. Before he could type, a soft thud came from inside the closet. Then, another. Mason gripped the blankets tight. His mouth was dry. He wanted to call out, but his voice wouldn't work. Then, the whisper came again. "Mason, come here." His stomach twisted. No. No way. But something was pulling him forward. His legs tingled as if the air itself was dragging him toward the closet. He fought it, digging his fingers into the bed, but his body kept moving. The door creaked open wider. A shadow stretched from inside, long, twisted, unnatural. It crawled toward him like fingers reaching out. Mason squeezed his eyes shut. This isn't real. Wake up. Wake up. His phone buzzed in his hand. A text. From his mom. "Are you okay? I just heard you talking to someone." His breath caught. His mom was in the other room. She couldn't have heard the whisper. Mason's eyes snapped open. The closet door was wide open. And inside something grinned at him. Ethan Wells had always heard stories about haunted mirrors, but he never believed them. Until the night he saw something move inside his own reflection. It happened after midnight. Ethan was brushing his teeth, staring at his own tired face in the bathroom mirror. That's when he noticed it. His reflection blinked, but he hadn't. Ethan froze, toothbrush still in his mouth. Had he imagined it? He blinked quickly once, twice. His reflection copied him perfectly. He let out a nervous laugh. "I need more sleep." Shaking his head, he reached for the faucet. That's when his reflection smirked. Ethan's heart stopped. He hadn't moved, but his reflection did. Slowly, it tilted its head. The wrong way. A cold wave of fear rushed through him. He stepped back, but in the mirror his reflection stepped forward. "Nope," Ethan whispered, spinning around. He wasn't playing this game. He'd just go to bed and pretend this never thud. The sound came from behind him. From the mirror. Ethan turned back, stomach twisting. The glass wasn't showing his bathroom anymore. Instead, it revealed a dark, empty space stretching endlessly. And in that space, something was watching him. A shadowy figure stood just beyond the glass. Tall. Waiting, Ethan's reflection was gone. His breath came in short gasps. This isn't real. This isn't real. The figure moved closer. Its hand pressed against the glass, long fingers dragging down the surface with a slow, screeching sound. Then, in a voice just like his own, it whispered, "Let me out." Ethan ran. He bolted out of the bathroom, slammed the door shut, and dove under his covers like a terrified little kid. He squeezed his eyes shut, forcing himself to breathe. It's just my imagination. It's just a dream. Hours passed. Slowly, his heart calmed. His body relaxed. He drifted into a restless sleep. The next morning, Ethan hesitated before looking in the bathroom mirror again. Everything looked normal. No shadow, no strange reflection. He let out a relieved breath. Maybe he really did imagine it. Then he noticed something that made his stomach drop: a single handprint on the inside of the glass. Caleb Thompson had heard the stories about the old train tunnel at the edge of town. People said it whispered. Most kids were too scared to go near it. But not Caleb. He didn't believe in ghost stories. One night, his friends dared him to walk through the tunnel alone. Caleb, never one to back down, smirked. Easy. The air inside was damp and cold. His footsteps echoed as he moved deeper, flashlight in hand. Halfway through, he heard it. A whisper. It was soft, just behind him. Too close. Caleb spun around, shining his flashlight back. Nothing. Just an empty tunnel stretching into darkness. He swallowed hard and kept walking. It's just the wind. Then he heard it again. This time, the whisper said his name. A chill ran down his spine. His hands tightened around the flashlight. Who's there? His voice wavered. Silence. His heart pounded. He wasn't scared. Not yet. He walked faster. Almost out. Just a few more steps. DONLAAVE. The voice was right in his ear. Caleb froze. The flashlight flickered. And then it went out. Darkness swallowed him. He fumbled with the flashlight, shaking it, hitting it. Nothing. His breath came fast. Something moved behind him. Soft footsteps. Getting closer. A shaky breath brushed his neck. Not the wind. Caleb bolted. He sprinted toward the tunnel's exit, lungs burning. He could hear the whispers all around him now. More than one voice. They were laughing. Finally, he burst out of the tunnel and collapsed on the dirt, gasping for air. He scrambled to his feet and looked back. Silence. The tunnel was just a dark hole in the hill. No voices. No laughter. His hands were shaking. He forced himself to breathe. It was over. It was a whisper, right next to his ear. See you soon. Caleb ran. And he never went near that tunnel again. Oliver Green had always hated the old house across the street. It had been empty for years, its windows dark and lifeless. But every night, as he lay in bed, he felt like someone was watching him. One evening, as he closed his curtains, something made him stop. A figure stood at the upstairs window of the old house. Oliver's breath caught in his throat. No one lived there. He blinked. The figure was gone. Shaking it off, he got into bed. Just my imagination. At midnight, something woke him up. A sound. Tap, tap, tap. His stomach dropped. It was coming from his window. Slowly, he turned his head. His blood ran cold. The man from the old house was outside his window. Smiling, Oliver couldn't move, couldn't breathe. The man raised a hand and pointed at him. Then, just as suddenly, he was gone. Oliver leaped out of bed, heart pounding. It wasn't possible. He was on the second floor. No one could reach his window. He barely slept. In the morning, he told his parents. They laughed. Probably a shadow, his dad said. Oliver wasn't so sure. That night, he locked his window and shut the curtains tight. He wouldn't look. He wouldn't tee a pee. Tee a pee. Tee a pee. His heart hammered. Don't look. Don't look. The taps grew louder. He squeezed his eyes shut. It's not real. It's not real. Silence. Oliver exhaled. Maybe it was over. Then a whisper. Right outside the glass. Let me in. Oliver screamed. His parents ran in, turning on the lights. The window was locked. The curtains were closed. No one was there. Shaking, Oliver rushed to the window and yanked the curtains open. Nothing. Just the quiet, empty street. But across the road, in the upstairs window of the old house, the man was back. Still smiling. And this time he waved. Oliver slept with the lights on after that. And no matter what, he never opened his window again. Daniel had lived in his house for years, but there was one door he was never allowed to open. It was in the basement. Always locked. Always ignored. Whenever he asked his parents about it, they'd say, "It's just storage. Forget about it." But something about the door felt wrong. One night, his parents went out, leaving him home alone. The moment the front door shut, he felt it a pull. A quiet urge to go to the basement. His heart pounded as he crept down the stairs. The house was silent, except for his breathing. And then, click. Daniel froze. The basement door was unlocked. It had never been unlocked before. He swallowed hard. Was someone down there? Slowly, he pushed the door open. The basement was pitch black. Something moved. His breath hitched. Hello? No answer. A single bare light bulb hung from the ceiling. He pulled the chain. Click. The room lit up. And there it was, the locked door. But tonight, it was slightly open. Daniel's stomach twisted. His parents had warned him never to open it. But the door had already been opened. By someone else. He stepped closer. The air was cold. The gap in the door was just big enough to see through. He peeked inside. A face stared back at him. Daniel's scream caught in his throat. The thing inside had his face. His exact same face, but smiling. Before he could move, the door slammed shut. The lock clicked. The light bulb burst. Darkness swallowed the basement. Daniel bolted up the stairs, heart pounding, slamming the basement door behind him. When his parents came home, they found him pale, shaking. He stammered, the basement, his dad's face went white. His mom gripped his arm. Tell me you didn't open the door. Daniel couldn't speak. His dad rushed to the basement, but when he tried the door, it was locked. Just like always, no sign it had ever been open. His mom whispered, Daniel, you didn't let it out, did you? He didn't answer, because deep down, he wasn't sure.